Welcome, Jeb.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. It's good to see your face after all the chats that we've had. Welcome, welcome. All right. Whenever you're ready, we will go ahead and proceed.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and introduce. We're going to treat this like a competition. So everybody, please turn off once before he starts speaking. Go ahead and turn off your screens and your audio. All right. Okay. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I'd like to present Jub McGeary, Unwanted, Jub McGeary.
I'm 13 years old, standing outside an office building, searching for a man I have never met. My mom had told me, the man looks just like you. And so I stand there studying every man walking by. Is it him? No, too tall. Is it him? No, too light-skinned. Is it him? No, that's a priest. And then there he was, my biological father, my only hope. Toastmaster and virtual friends, 13 years prior to this moment, my mom gave birth to me. My biological father left, and the Kenyan village she was living in rejected my mom for having a child out of wedlock. My mom found a new village and met my stepfather, Mogire. My mom's rejection ended, but my rejection started. The new village labeled me Eke Rentane, an unwanted child. When I wanted to play with other kids, they said, no, you are Eke Rentane. When I wanted to become an altar boy in the local church, the priest said, no, you are Eke Rentane. Nothing can hurt quite as much as rejection. Wouldn't you agree? I remember lying in bed awake wondering, why do people hate me so much? I turned to my stepfather. They called me Eke Rentane. He stoically said, ignore them. Ignore them? I wanted him to scold the kids, rebuke their dolls, and bribe the priest. He said, we are not talented enough to live our life according to every opinion. Ignore them. So easy for a stoic man to say. But I found an outlet for my pain. Academics. I worked hard in school, and at 13, it paid off. I received an admission to a prestigious high school far away from the village. Even my stoic stepfather smiled. This is good, but you will go to the village school. What? The school he was suggesting had a name that could take away your breath. You had to swallow your saliva, sit down, remove your dentures before you could say, Kerongorori SDA Mixed SDA Secondary School. There is no way I am going to that school. I thought, if I go to this school, I would be stuck in this village and be rejected forever. So I begged him, I really want to go to the other school. He said, but I can't afford it. And so I ended up in the village school. School uniform, white shirt, gray trousers, black shoes. The lower it went, the darker it got. Day one, he says, I don't have money to buy new school uniform. Take this. Gives me an oversized white shirt, so old it looked yellow, and an old pair of brown shoes, 4 sizes too big. Even with 3 layers of socks, they still didn't fit. Have you ever wondered what it's like to wear clown shoes? I don't have to wonder. I remember the teasing and taunting I faced in school. Those classmates did not use the sandwich method. I hated it. Felt like Eke Rentane. And then a thought occurred to me. What if I ask my stepfather, my biological father, to help me? But after all these years, would he save me? I decided to try it anyway. My mom said, he works at the teachers union and he looks just like you. And so I am standing outside the office building block, searching for him. I found his office and sat across a gigantic mahogany desk and said, I am your son and I need your help. He said something that I will never forget. No. The word I really felt in my heart, Eke Rentane. I was crushed and I cried for weeks. I returned to the village, back to the village school. But what happened 1 month later changed my entire outlook. A local high school hired my stepfather to make dance costumes. It took him a month. The day he was paid, he said, take this money and pay your school fees. Every penny he earned went into my school fees. And then I realized I am not just wearing an old shirt. I'm wearing a shirt off his back. I am not just wearing clown shoes. I'm wearing shoes off his feet. I am not just his stepchild. I am his son. He is my real father. Because of his help, I qualified for university from that village school. And I am proud to say that today I am Dr. Mogire, and I have vowed to carry his name the rest of my life. Sometimes the love we are looking for is right next to us. The next time you feel rejected, make sure you are not missing out on the love right next to you. Toastmaster.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that wonderful speech. Oh. All right. Kylie, may we have a timer's report?
Yes, it was a little bit over time and it came in at 7:42.
Okay, so that would be the first piece of feedback. Definitely short it down, because that is not a speech you want to get disqualified, for sure. You don't want to be, you don't want to be knocked out of the competition based on a technicality. Let me go ahead and start since we're here. I think that I was a little confused when you went to go see your biological stepfather. Like when you went back, I like the way you started the story. But then when you went back to present day, it got a little muddled there because you were talking about your stepfather and then you went back into present day biological father. Find a better transition when you're going from the past back to the present. Because I was a little confused as to, okay, wait a minute, somehow I didn't remember the beginning of the story that you were waiting for him. So if you can clean that up, those transitions, I think the story will be a little bit, the transitions will be a lot cleaner, and that actually might help your time a little bit. Okay, so keep that in mind. Does anyone else have any feedback? Oscar?
First and foremost, I so appreciate you coming to our club. That was a magnificent speech that very emotionally pulled at my heart. So I I love it. I love it. What I'm thinking is that, you know, the deep message comes at the end, right? You pound it home, the love is right next to you. And I'm wondering if you could bring that into the beginning, you know, because I mean, just something to look at, you know, because I always think of a speech where you put the message out, where what you want to communicate, you tell a few stories to highlight it, and then you hit it again. That's what I did with you know, I'm going to be competing against you and probably knock you out. No, I'm just, anyway. No, but I try to get the message right in the beginning, and then weave my path through, and then hit it at the end again. And for me, I was on the edge of my seat, which I like that part about yours, wondering where you were going with this message, because unwanted, it sounded like you go down that path and you'd stay unwanted. The other thing, I wondered if I've struggled with this, but put some humor into it. The humor I saw would be possibly those clown shoes. You know, you got these big, and you could maybe do the walk like a clown, and then people laughing. So I thought there's an opportunity to look for humor in, you know, oversized clothes. I wonder if you could even have that in the costume. You have that outfit on, being laughed at, and then put on the doctor, you know, put on the jacket. You put, you know, the big message usually with a doctor is a white coat, right? I don't know if that's a possibility, and I don't want to steal all the time. So, but that's the thing. So a little humor, message in the front and the back, and maybe more costumes and more, you know, acting. Could you see that? Like and maybe, you know, being rejected, and there could be some other emotions in there. Okay, go ahead. Who's next?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Steve.
First, let me build on what Oscar said about the message. That is an incredibly powerful speech with an incredibly powerful message. I teared up a little bit, and that's not easy to do, especially when you brought out that stethoscope. That was an amazing touch. But there is a tendency sometime in these speeches to leave the message for the end, thinking that, pow, I'm going to drive this home now. Look, this is where this was all leading. But in a speech, you're losing the audience until then. They don't know what to expect. So maybe something as simple as, and this word meant unwanted, which to me meant unloved, and bring in the unloved a little bit earlier. And then when you make the connection that I was not unloved, the love was there all the time right next to me, I think would make a connection throughout the story much stronger and would leave people with an even more powerful message. And the other thing I just want to caution you on is, I know you ran over a little bit, but one of the things I don't think that you want to do is eliminate the pauses. I thought you had a masterful use of the pause in your speech. When you were sitting across your biological father and we were waiting for his answer and you paused, and, you know, it's almost like, what's he going to say? No. The pause was good. And make sure you don't lose that when you're trying to trim down the speech a little bit. That was very amazing. And thank you very much for that speech. I'm going to carry that one with me today. That was a very good speech.
We got it recorded, so I would love that recording.
Yeah, George will send it out. If anything, if you're going to cut out anything, cut out a little bit of the beginning where you were saying who didn't want you. I mean, one or two examples would have been perfect. Maybe the priest or the kids, just keep the kids, and maybe keep I can't I'm so sorry, I can't remember all of them, but the kids was one that stuck with me, and the priest was the one that stuck with me. Anything else, I really can't recall, so those might be the two that you want to keep. If you're going to trim down time, that's probably where you can do it. Okay. Anybody else have any feedback, Kylie?
Yeah. I just want to say, echoing what everyone else has said, really, really powerful speech. I connected with it right away. And so it was really, I think, very entertaining for us to go on that journey with you. And you did a really good job of making us feel that pain and that emotion in your speech, because I felt it with you. So really good job there. You had really good eye contact too. I know you did. I thought maybe you could have used the space a little bit more, like in the Zoom screen, but you had really strong eye contact. And I think that's something that's hard to do in a Zoom setting. So good job there as well. And let's see, I took some notes. So I really liked the punch at the end, as far as building up to, putting that stethoscope on your shoulders. That was a really powerful imagery there. So definitely I would keep that in there, because it was like, wow, look at what you've accomplished after, sorry, my cat says hello, after all this pain that you went through. So I would keep that. And then echoing what Leslie and Steve and Oscar have said, just using those pauses to your advantage, because I think, like Steve said, you did a really good job of that, and that's something I struggle with. So I was like, how are you doing this? But keeping it in check a little bit more when it comes to time, because yeah, you definitely don't want to get disqualified from a timing perspective, because it is a very, very powerful speech. So thank you for sharing that with us today.
Kathy?
It was along the lines of what Oscar had mentioned with carrying through a message. You had said at the end, sometimes the life we are waiting for is right next to you. If you could deliver that in the beginning, I feel like that's your message. And then, like Oscar mentioned, bring it back home at the end. That's what I would suggest that you bring to the table, but very powerful. And I, like Kylie, and I think all of us felt very emotionally drawn by this.
And that's the key to a good speech. If you can make people feel like deep down, then you've got a winner.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just want to mention, I adopted 2 teenagers from foster care who were unwanted. And so it really hit home with me. And here, I don't know, you can see my kids there, my family, my wife, so that means a lot. But that was a road, because they believed they were unwanted, even by me, unloved. But it was a road we got when they kind of woke up and they said, wait a minute, like when my daughter's father was finally murdered for drugs, because she was very connected to him, but he was such a druggie. She leaned on my shoulder and cried, and she looked at me and said, "You're my dad."
Mhm.
So I've gone through it.
Mhm. Jason, do you have any feedback?
Yeah, I thought that you did a great job expressing your story as well. I think that the description of your school clothes was excellent. I could visualize everything, especially when you said that the white shirt was almost yellow. I could see that. I could even feel how you felt about it. The clown shoes, I thought, was an excellent description, even using 3 socks. I as well have never met my biological father, so I understood that part. I think the use of the camera and the way that you started the speech while your mother told you to look for him, he looks just like you, and you were pointing out people. I thought that was impeccable. I might have even used a little bit more of the camera, maybe just looking, make it look like you were looking for him during the speech in the camera. And I know it's a little bit hard
Mm.
on Zoom rather than in person, because you just feel like you're just looking into outer space then. But I think it was amazing how detailed oriented you were with it. And I agree that the pauses that you did were perfect.
Fantastic. Mhm.
So don't change that.
Mm-mm.
And the stethoscope at the end was definitely a key part. And this had nothing to do with it, but I was just curious, what type of doctor are you?
I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, I am 2 years away from completing my training as a cardiologist. That's why I was in the
Nice.
UK. I moved here to train as a cardiologist. So that's what I'm doing here in Kansas.
Oh,
That's
that is
wonderful.
that's fantastic.
There you go. You have heart. You have heart.
Yeah.
So much.
You're
I am blown away by your feedback. There are
Oh.
things which have come up that no one else has mentioned before.
Really?
Yes. And this is the fastest rate I have delivered this speech. I was wondering if I was going to lose my pauses, because that's one of the things that people tell me, that when I speak, I use the pauses really well.
Mhm.
But I delivered it really quickly. And I tried at least 5 different new lines which are not in the main speech, just to see whether they work. Whether I can exchange something else. So I know once I move those 5 lines, I'm going to keep 2 of those lines. So I will replace 5. Once I replace them, I'm hoping to be 7 minutes and 10 seconds at most.
Good.
So
Good.
that I'm
That's
in the-
exactly where you want to be.
Yeah.
Really need to hit 7 just to be safe.
Yes.
You know, particularly the way you speak,
Mhm.
you know, with those pauses, so you're safe.
Yeah.
I mean, when you practice, it should go to 7, because you know what? I think on the stage you end up pausing more, or I don't know why.
Mhm.
When it's an actual stage, yes.
Yeah,
Right.
Especially if there is humor. But now it is all Zoom. So
yeah.
I'm the one controlling
Right.
it. Yeah.
Well,
I also felt like you used a lot of words that were figurative words, like I was crushed.
mhm.
You said that, and I felt like the pain of what you felt,
Mhm.
the teasing and taunting, and how mean the children were, and bullying that you overcame.
Mhm.
Just that like the mentioning of your uniform, and again, like everyone has mentioned, you
Yeah.
described it so detailed.
Mhm.
Keep those, the very
Yeah.
powerful.
You know, I wondered about the title or the purpose, you know, instead of unwanted, finding love. You know, it's the other, or discovering love. I don't know, just something to look at, because it's another direction. You're
Yeah.
heading there.
I like the
And-
unwanted though. I think it
Yeah.
leaves
Yeah.
the mystery of what you're trying to convey.
Mm.
You know, I think the title is fine. I just think that there's some descriptions, I guess, that could be tightened up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just needs polishing. I mean, it's almost perfect the way it is. It just needs to be polished and shortened. And that's up to you. How you do it is entirely up to you. Do you have a link for the competition? Can we come?
Yes, you can. You can. The contest is on May 1st.
Oh, it's the same day as ours.
What time is your contest? Because the international speech contest will be at 4 p.m. Central Time. That's 5 p.m. Eastern.
What time is your competition, Oscar?
It's on the 8th at 5 p.m. It's on
Oh,
the 8th.
okay. Oh,
And-
perfect. Oh, humorous contest is this weekend.
Humorous
That's what it
contest
is.
is
Okay.
on the
Oh,
May
good.
1st.
Good.
So that would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I will share the link. Leslie,
Now-
I'll send you the link so that you can share with everyone.
Yes, please.
Oh,
Thank you so
you want the
much.
link for mine?
Yes,
um,
sure.
Let's see here, forward. Can you give me your email really quick? Or you put it in
Put it in the chat if
Yes,
you can,
I'll put in the chat.
if you don't mind. Yes, that would be great. Well, we herald you. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh.
We're so honored that you were able to join us, and we're happy to give feedback. And you are always welcome to come. I know it's early. I know
It
it's
is,
early
it
for
is.
you. So sorry.
No, it's not early because I sometimes most of the days I'm out of the house at 5 to go to work, so it's not early
Okay.
for me. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Last time it's just work gets in the way, which
Yeah.
is that's why I've not competed since I joined Toastmasters 2014. So this is the first year I have enough room to do this because I can do some of the clinics on Zoom, some of the meetings on Zoom, so it gives me some flexibility.
Oh, excellent. That's so good to hear. That's so
Yeah.
good to hear. All
Now,
right.
your name is Job? Is it J-O-B-E? Is it
Yes.
J.O.B.
J-O-B, Job, yes.
Job.
J-O-B?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, I just sent it to you. See if you get it.
Yeah. Right.
We do fast, accurate work here.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
The final request is if you have a minute later, you could like there's a link I'm sharing. It's just 5 questions and they're
Oh,
very
yes.
straightforward. You could
Mhm.
give me extra feedback if you like later. When you have-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So are you sending that to the box?
yes, I'm
Okay.
sending that. I just
Oh,
used
perfect.
it yesterday at District 40 during their conference.
Mm-hmm.
It will have the label of D40, but it's just I'm using it to get feedback together.
Oh, good.
Yes,
Good.
I've put it in the chat box.
Okay. Excellent.
Joe, I just want to share with you how we've been doing contests like with Steve and Kylie and stuff, is we kind of don't look at it to go to win. We're more like very collaborative.
Yeah.
And just like you felt the feedback here, I, through some strange circumstance, have moved forward, but it could have been any one of us. But, it just what happened. They had a meeting or things happened. But
Yeah.
it's been amazing to be coming from, like, you have a great, bigger purpose. And I see your message having a strong purpose, both in bullying, right? And to overpower that, knowing, and also the whole experience of being unwanted and knowing that there is somebody who does want you,
Yeah.
but you're not looking, you don't see them. So I think you have a bigger purpose than just like winning the competition, So that's
Thank you. Yeah.
I just
Thank you
wanted
so
to
much.
share that with you.
Yeah, I hope this speech lives on after the competition because you've got a very powerful message there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a couple of them, in fact, I think. So
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm so grateful. Even Kylie's cat was with us. So that's
yeah. Now I have a cat too,
Bambino.
Oh, you see?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So we're all here together.
Yeah,
And a
we're a lot
dog.
of fun.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think Kylie's cat attends more meetings than I do.
True. That is true. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have about 10 minutes left. Would we
Yep.
like to do a quick round of table topics?
Sure.
Okay. Who's our table topics master? Steven.
C'est moi.
C'est tout.
Yeah. All righty then. So, a couple weeks ago, I was talking about the pandemic and the things that people were doing during the pandemic to kind of fill the time. And we talked about the best books that you had read during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out that something else that people are doing is not only reading books, but they're doing more writing. And I know all of you have been doing the same. And I would love to hear the stories that you guys have been working on. But wait, because
Oh, no.
the Lunchbox of Doom knows what stories you've been working
Oh,
on.
no, not the Lunchbox of Doom.
So the Lunchbox of Doom will give you an opening line for your story, and you will have to continue it. Who would like to go first? Oscar. Let's see. Here we go. All right, Oscar. It sounded like piano music, but it was coming from the basement. It sounded like piano music, but it was coming from the basement.
Yeah, I never know about that. I've been hearing piano music in the basement a lot. But when I go down there, I walk down those into the dark part of our basement. I don't see anything. So am I losing my mind? Is this pandemic making me see things that I and hear things that I aren't really there? Or is it some old relative that actually living down there and is coming back as a ghost and plays piano music? So I don't know. It's kind of like in that haunted mansion over at Disney World, where it all comes alive. So I'm not sure what's going on. Is it in my mind or is it real? So when I go down there, I look around, I go in that one room and it's all dark and there's nothing there. And I don't hear anything when I'm down there, but every time I turn around, it's something else. It's strange and weird. So am I losing my mind or is there a ghost? I think it's a ghost. And maybe it's telling me a message that I need to get back and learn some piano. But I don't know. So I think that's what I'm going to do is take piano lessons. Back to you, Mr. Tabletop Master.
Thank you for that story. I can't wait to read it in print. Who's like to go next? Leslie, do I see your hand up? All right,
Absolutely.
let's see what we got here. She'd imagined this moment so many times, but she never expected. She'd imagined this moment so many times, but she'd never expected.
She imagined this moment so many times, but she never expected that she would be standing at the altar in front of the love of her life, her alien. She knew she had fallen in love as soon as she saw that blue skin, those green eyes, that tall, wonderful tentacle. She knew she had to have him. She finally caught his eye. And she decided to approach him. Hi, my name is Vanessa. What's yours? My name is. Oh, that's fantastic. And that was the start of a wonderful, wonderful relationship. And now here she is standing at the altar. Da, da, da.
Thank you. I know we're pushed for time, but I also know that Kylie is just dying to do one of these. So maybe we can squeeze in just one more. Hi, Kylie. I always thought that the dark and stormy night was a cliche, but then came the knock at the door. I always thought the dark and stormy night was a cliche, but then came the knock at the door.
I always thought one dark and stormy night was a cliche, but then came a knock at the door. And I opened that door and I looked around, but I didn't see anything. And I looked down and there was a cat. And my heart melted because what was a cat doing out in the middle of a dark and stormy night? I had always been afraid of storms and never wanted to open a door during a storm like that. But he was just sitting there looking so sweet and so quiet, which I've never encountered in a cat before. Most of the cats I've known are very vocal. And how could this cat be sitting there on a dark and stormy night and just being so quiet and so cute? It was very characteristic for a cat. So naturally, I had to take him inside, because what else would you do with a cat? So I snuggled him in. Come to find out, his brother Bambino was not happy and gave him the boot right back out into that dark and stormy night.
Thank you, Kylie. Bambino, I'm ashamed of you. All right, Madam Toastmaster, I turn it back over to you.
All right. Oscar, do you want to do a quick general evaluation?
Yes, I'm so happy that you came, Job, and then is that how you pronounce it? I hope.
Job.
Yep. And I hope you come back many times, because if we can collaborate, we can all grow together, and I think that we could help each other. So please come back, and may the best man win. So anyway, no, for me, this was a great meeting, and thanks for inviting him, Leslie, and making this such a good meeting. So in all, I like the round robin thing, so that also is a very positive. Unfortunately, you get limited time, each person, but if we can think of different things to say, that's always good. So that would be my general evaluation, and looking at the time.
Yep, I have one more. We missed grammarian report real quick. Sorry, I apologize, Kathy.
No worries. Harold, everyone, especially Leslie, for coming up with her Harold in there. Great job. The big winner on crutch words was with over 10. I stopped counting. Was another one. And I had minimal. Lots of great figurative language use. So great job, everyone. And thank you so much, Joe. We enjoyed your speech. Keep plugging away. I know you're going to improve upon it, and we can't wait to hear you May 1st with your touches.
All right. And with that, and does anybody else have any last minute announcements?
I, of course, want to create the next meeting. I don't know if after this, everybody has time.
We can do that after. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Yep, go ahead.
We end our meeting on time. Okay. Well, thank you all.
Yes. Thank you. Have a great day.